I'm Reverend Dr. William Glover. I'm the senior pastor of Mount Hermon Church.
Dr. William Glover has used his platform as a preacher and teacher to improve the day-to-day lives of people in the Southwest Florida community. He is a renowned author, teacher, who is known for his unique ability to advocate for justice for the least of these.
I think I can best start by paraphrasing a quote from Dr. King, where he made the observation that we cannot preach the glories of heaven while ignoring the earthly hell that people live in. And so for me, what that means is that we cannot just be concerned about spiritual oppression that people have to deal with, but also social, mental, emotional, political, and even economic oppression as well. If we're going to preach a complete gospel and meet the need of the entire person, then I think we have to expand our work beyond exclusively focusing on the spiritual. And in that regard, we see over Dr. King's life and his work, how he evolved from just focusing on spiritual things to recognizing that man was a holistic being, and the call to address other forms of oppression is as much of a call to be a minister of the gospel as preaching regarding spiritual things.
His work has brought improvements in the areas of criminal justice, healthcare, housing reform, and other important social justice issues.
Inherent in the theme, until victory is won, is the suggestion that while we've made great progress, the victory is not won, that there's still battles to be fought. So for modern day advocates and those who seek to make a difference, I personally believe that we found solace in the symbolism of the work of Dr. King and have engaged in a lot of symbolic activity, but have not engaged in direct action activity. And by that, I mean it's not enough to simply march and remember and memorialize. We have to actually engage in the work in terms of identifying local public policy issues that are not just, and engage in bringing about the changes so that the Prophet Micah's vision of what society should look like, and the quote from Dr. King's "I Have a Dream" speech, "Let justice roll down as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream," might become a reality. And from that, I think both the prophet and Dr. King meant that it's God's heart that justice and righteousness saturate every sector of society. The religious sector, the political sector, the business sector, the social sector, the economic sector, even healthcare, medical sector. So there is no sector of society where God is not vested in there being justice for all of his people.
Dr. Glover is a natural connector of people.
My dream for the Southwest Florida community is simply that as a community, we will become what God envisions community to be. Jesus, when he was asked of his audience, "Who is thy neighbor?" he gave the great parable and story of the Good Samaritan. And the story of that was a traveler was robbed, left on the wayside. Religious people passed him by, neighbors passed him by, and a foreigner, a Samaritan, when he came across, he stopped and he helped him, paid for his health care and his lodging. And then Jesus asked this question: who then was the neighbor? And the point of that story is anybody who's in our circle whom we can provide help, aid, assistance to, regardless of race, ethnicity, religious persuasion, or any other orientation, if we're able to help them and they are in need, that is our neighbor. So my vision for Southwest Florida is that in that sense, we all would become neighbors and move beyond our isms as dividing points and tap into our collective humanity.
Dr. William Glover embodies the quote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly."
My dream for Southwest Florida is that we will become, to use some biblical language, what Scripture describes as a city of God. And a city of God is a city wherein not only righteousness reigns, but also justice reigns. And to tap into the prophet Micah again, let justice roll down as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream. That whole saturation of equity and fairness and justice in every sector of society. I think the challenge for us Americans is to reconcile profit and capitalism with justice and equity. And they don't necessarily have to be counter-opposed. What interferes with capitalism and justice working congruently together is that human nature for greed and hoarding. And the reality of it is there really is no scarceness. God has provided the earth with all the resources it needs to support the human population. So my vision is for Southwest Florida to be a city of God where we can prosper, but also be a just society.
The Xi Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and the Southwest Florida Alpha Educational and Leadership Foundation is pleased to present the 2024 Keeper of the Dream Award to Dr. William Glover.